Good morning. Just clearing my throat. Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? This is lovely. It's still dark outside. I'm doing this early. I've got kind of. I was going to say I've got a busy day. I haven't really. I've just got lots of things that I want to get done. Um, it- they're not. They're not kind of urgent, but they're important, and that's part of what we're talking about today. It's doing the important things when they're not urgent is really good for our kind of stress levels. Um, Important things are clearly important. If we're trying to do them when they're really urgent, then what happens is we start to get all foggy in our brains and stuff, thinking about kind of other things that they do or the limited amount of time we have. Anyway, so today I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. But first of all, hello. I don't know whether you've spotted, but I'm on TikTok. Just want to tell you about that. It's a very exciting development. I feel I need to be a little more enthusiastic on TikTok. I've got to go for it a bit, and because that's what these TikTokers do. So I have to do that. So it's a lot of fun learning how a new system works and seeing what works and what doesn't work, and that's been really interesting. And it's really interesting doing short form things as well as these longer form things. So it's good. It's brilliant. So yes, I'm on TikTok at Shorts Media. That's where we've gone with that. So I can pull together things that I do on here, self-care shorts, and also the other kind of streams that I do, like around social work and the like, and other things. So anyway, here we are today, Friday, most important day of next week, etc. As you know. Um, Set your intention and pay attention is a thing that I often say. Um, and I think it's really important. And I've been reading a book recently which has talked a lot about this, and I'll put that in the chat afterwards. Um, and as I was kind of thinking about what to say today, there were lots of things popping into my head. And I stumbled across in my notes. I stumbled across this quote from a piece by Masacampo and Baumeister. And they explored David Allen's getting things done methodology. So I was interested in this because I really rate David Allen's getting things done methodology. And they were writing about that and the success of understanding what your next step is when you're trying to do anything. Anyway, they said, which I think that resonates with what I'm going to talk about today, they said the inclusion in one's plan of how, when, and where one will act is crucial if a plan is to produce the benefits uh, specific work plans require, uh, because they transfer control of goal pursuit to the automatic system. There's a few things in there we need to unpick, don't we really? Um, and they go on to say, in order for that transfer to occur, the automatic system must know how and when to respond. So the automatic system is a Daniel Kahneman idea, I suppose, or he called them system one and two. And I've talked about these before. We've got two parts to our brain: the automatic brain, which just gets on with those automated tasks that we do, like walking, breathing, our heartbeats, but also we can over time develop automatic things like you drive a car and you don't really think about changing gear, you don't really think about all of those kind of things because they just become automatic. They're automatic things, and I'll mention those in a bit as well. So that's our automatic system, that's our automatic brain, and it gives us easily available solutions to what we need or what we want to do. One of the problems with our automatic system is that it loves new things, it loves novelty. And craving novelty also creates dopamine. It also kind of gives us a little flush of dopamine. We look at the new thing, the new email, the new thing on our phone, um, you know, the new package dropping through the door. Oh, that's exciting. Let's go and see what that is. All of those kind of things. That's a very personal one to me. Um, our automatic brain loves that, and it loves those little external cues to go, oh, do this. Our deliberate brain is where we need to set our intention and then pay attention. Our deliberate brain is hard to get going. It's hard work to get our deliberate brain going. And it's even harder when we place lots of things in the way. It's hard when we actually give our automatic brain cues to go and do something that appears a little more interesting. I talk all the time, don't I, about your environment being absolutely crucial. And it is. Because if your environment says, do this, watch that, look at this, then your deliberate brain's going, how hey, man, I'm trying to do this task. So Master Campbell and Baumeister, again, they're saying here, the inclusion in one's plan of how, when, and where one will act is crucial. So obviously, when, setting some time aside, where, at your desk if that's where it needs to be, or at the gym if you're going to work out, or whatever it happens to be. For me, the how was crucial. How am I going to do this? The inclusion in my plan of how am I going to set the environment is absolutely crucial. And one of the places I see this at play a lot is when I'm lecturing. We are, and I include myself in this, I easily fall into this trap as well. We are a culture, a society obsessed with these little devices that we hold in our hands that are designed to stimulate our automatic brain. They're designed. All of those little alerts, all of those pings, all of those beeps, all of those things are designed to stimulate our automatic brain. Why? Because that little device in your hand is being used to inform you that there's something you need to look at. And in informing you of that, these streams of unconscious messages that feed our unconscious brain are trying to sell us things, get us to behave in particular ways, all of that kind of stuff. So, and I see this regularly in lectures. I'm standing at the front of classes lecturing, and some people are good, the phones go away and all that kind of thing. And other people, their phone is on the desk. The phone is on the desk but turned face down. That makes no difference. The phone is still there. Just turning it face down doesn't make any difference whatsoever. It's still there. You still hear it ping. You still see the light emit from underneath it. Even if you've got it on silent and something pops up, you still see that. And as I'm lecturing, I sometimes stand and go about my business doing what I do. See people checking their phones every 5 or 10 minutes. And I walk around while I'm lecturing. And as I'm walking around, I can see, because one of the arguments is, oh, they might be looking stuff up on their phones. I walk around and I see that they're not. They're on Facebook, they're on Twitter, they're on some sort of, something like that. And, that's fine, I suppose. If they're bored with me, then fair enough. I suppose in many ways, on one level, I don't care. On another level, I care immensely because, and this is the point, I suppose, you can only service one intentional goal at a time. One attentional goal at a time. You can only service one attentional goal at a time. Now, I'll come on to this with this automatic brain, deliberate brain thing, but you can only service one attentional goal at a time because your deliberate brain requires all of your conscious thought. Because if you are switching between tasks, writing the report and then checking your phone, listening to the lecturer and then checking your phone, intending to relax, intending to watch, a net film on Netflix, but looking at your phone periodically or whatever, or trying to read a book while the telly's on or whatever it happens to be. I don't want to just pick on mobile phones, but I think they're the biggest problem that we have in our society today, in terms of dividing our attention. If you are trying to do those two things at once, the evidence is out there. I'm not going to go into it again. I've talked about it before. The evidence is out there that there is an attentional dip every time you switch attention from the movie to the phone, the presentation to the phone. And not only that, but because your brain, and this is researched, this is not just me saying it, it's researched. If you're listening to something, television program or whatever, and you go to your phone, you are either not actually looking at your phone, but just mindlessly scrolling and you're still focused on the telly. Possible, unlikely, but possible. Because you're just automatically scrolling. You're using your automatic brain just to do this. And your deliberate brain is still on the telly. Unlikely, because you've intended to redirect your attention to the mobile phone. So if you're doing that, then the likelihood is you've started to attend to the mobile phone, and you're not now attending to the movie on the telly or the report that you're trying to write, or whatever. So we can only service one attentional goal at one time. So it's absolutely crucial, therefore, that you set your intention to the task. Now, if you set up your environment, intentionally to have your phone available, um, or have the television on when you're trying to read a book, if that's the environment you intentionally set up, then you will not attend to one task at a time. You will attempt to attend to two tasks or more at a time, and you can't do it. Not when we're talking deep work here. Not when let me just be clear about this, I suppose. I'm not saying, because sometimes people say, but yes, I can do this. Yes, you can. Some people will say, well, yes, but I can do something automatic at the same time as doing something deliberate. And yes, you can. Yes, you can to an extent. But it's the things that you are trying to do. You can't read something on your phone automatically. You have to engage with it. You can't have a television on in the background, infiltrating your mind. And some people can't switch off to the TV. I suppose that's maybe a bad example, but you can't. If you decide to look at your phone to see what's going on Twitter, you are setting your attention to that task. So, for example, this automatic, deliberate kind of brain kind of thing, like if you're running, right? If you're out running, that's an automatic thing, isn't it? We don't have to think about running or walking. We go out, don't we? But if you're out running or walking in January on an icy morning, then suddenly you're being very deliberate about thinking about how you walk. Yeah. If you are in the car driving, very automatic experience, changing gear, moving through the gears, doing all that kind of stuff. You're very automatic, but then something catches your eye up ahead. You move into your deliberate brain because you need to kind of think about it. Yeah. So while our automatic brains can take care of some things, when required, we then have to set our attention within our deliberate brain. And if you're doing something else, I do this all the time. This happens to me all the time. I love to stick an audio book on while I'm driving. Yeah. I deliberately now make sure that it's an audio book that I'm just enjoying for pleasure rather than something I really need to listen to, because as soon as the lights change to red, as soon as someone pulls in front of me and I have to apply the brakes and think about, my position on the road and that kind of thing, I stop listening to the book and I find myself, thinking, well, I've switched off, I've gone somewhere else now, and once I'm redirected away from the audio book, I find it hard to get back into it, because that's true. It is hard to get back into a task when we've been redirected to another task. So let's take the lecture and phone thing. If you're listening to the lecturer and then you move onto your phone, and then you look at your phone, it takes you time to get back into the lecture. If you're writing a report and you pick up an email and you read the email, it takes you time to get back into the report. Microsoft research reckon about 15 minutes, and you're not attending to both things adequately, really. So anyway, so that's what's going on there. So we have to be careful about setting our intention. We have to set our intention to one task. Dr. Nicole LePera says, have boundaries around your time so that you use your time in intentional ways. Now, I'm not just talking about setting an intention to do a task either here. It's not about intentionally listening or intentionally writing a report or intentionally sitting with someone and listening to them. It's not those things. It's not just those things. It's also setting your intention to relax and recover. If you've set your intention to spend some time reading a book, then set your intention to that. If you set your time to, have a glass of wine and watch something on TV, set your intention to that. Do that one thing, or you won't attend to it adequately. So I feel these are important things. I feel these are important things for us to consider, or we end up kind of feeling as though we've been doing things, but we're not satisfied by the doing, because actually we've been trying to do lots of things. And one reference, can't remember who it was now, said in trying to attend to all things, we shortchange everything. David Allen mentioned him right at the top of this. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. So we can do anything, but we can't do everything. And actually, Alan, in that sentence, means that when we've got all of these things to do, we need to figure out which one thing to do because we can't do everything. But I read that as well in this context, and I interpret that as we can do anything, one task, but we can't do everything, having 4 or 5 tasks all going on at the same time. So I think that's an important kind of message for us here. Set your intention. You are responsible for the intentions of your actions. Your actions are the things you do while you are in that attention moment. So we have to set our intention very clearly, very specific. What is it I am about to do? Remove the obstacles that are going to get in the way of you doing that. Create the right environment and then pay attention to that task. Or you risk having one of them days where you feel as though you've been grafting all day, but you've got nothing done. One of them days. We've all had those days. So you're responsible for your actions. So if in a lecture, or if when you are trying to write a report, or if when you are trying to watch a documentary on the telly or whatever, or a film on the telly, and your phone is right next to you, you've set that environment up. You've intended to have your phone available to you, so you will look at it. That's your intention that you've set. I'm going to try and do this, but actually I'm going to do this periodically through the thing. Put it somewhere else, out of sight. We are our conscious mind is also quite malleable, in that if we stick something out of the way so we can't see it, it's less likely to grab our attention. Switch the alerts off on the phone. If you have to have your phone out when you're doing these things, some people do. Some people are doing things. The boss needs to get in touch with them if there's an emergency, or your child is at school and not well, or whatever. Although we all managed before mobile phones with all of these kind of things. If that's the sort of thing, then switch all your other alerts off. The iPhone is great. I'm sure all the other phones have this kind of thing on as well. You can set it so it just switches all the alerts off except the ones from these phone numbers or these people. Great focus tool, focus time, it's called. Brilliant. So dead handy. Do that if you need to have your phone out, but stop looking at it. Stop redirecting your attention to other things when you are trying to write the report, trying to listen, trying to watch the movie, trying to relax, because you'll end up missing something. So set your intention, then pay attention. We can do anything, but we can't do everything. Have boundaries around your time and use your time in intentional ways. Move everything into important, but not urgent. Okay, have fun. It's Friday. This Friday is the most important day of next week. Set your intention this afternoon to plan next week, and then have a great weekend. All right, take care, and I'll see you soon. Monday, hopefully. Brilliant. Take care. See you soon. Oh, go and join me on TikTok and subscribe to the YouTube channel and all of those other things. Take care. Bye now.